me to this story in particular was the question. I've been tested a lot in my life. I'm a seeker. I identify with the yearning of the character, the striving to have clarity in all aspects of my life, not just spiritual, but in all my love relationships, with my husband, with my children, with my mama, and my parents, and to know myself ultimately. And sometimes you don't know, and those questions are there, and it's loving the questions, and that's what I love about this story. I was attached to it as an actress. The roles aren't always there. I encounter a lot of insipid scripts and really weak roles for women, and so my manager said one afternoon, well, why are you asking for permission? You know, why not just create your own opportunity? I had been attached to this for 3 years. The original writer was going to direct it, and he presented Carolyn Briggs's memoirs, This Dark World, to me. And we had developed it for 3 years, and then I pulled away because it wasn't going in the way that I wanted to portray this community and tonally. So he suggested that I direct it, and I told him I'd sleep on it, and so I had the conviction. So I called Miss Briggs, who's in the audience. I called her and flew out to Iowa, where she lives, and it's the first screenplay she's ever written. She's a creative writing professor at a college, and so she tackled her first script. We flew out, we workshopped it together, both our senses of humor infused the script, and our spirits, our energies, and I just wanted to make sure the tones were hit precisely. So after kind of the energies of last year, and after the Oscars, their financing came very quickly, and the project was greenlit, even I think before the script was 100% there, and we had to roll. I just found out I'd been pregnant, met with the financier and said, listen, I fainted in his presence, and I kind of had to tell him what that was about, and he says, great, let's go before your baby bump emerges, and I was scared. There was often I think my journey as a director mimicked Corinne's in terms of not knowing and being scared and feeling fear and feeling just not knowing if I could actually do it, and sort of saying, okay, well, I can rest assured that in this I'm going to learn something pretty interesting about myself. so let's go for it, even though it's insecurity and fear and overwhelming. I mean, the hormones of pregnancy, as any mama will know here, is tough. But it was the second trimester of pregnancy, and pretty invincible. But I did give it to Deborah Granick at one point, who directed Winter's Bone. I was here initially with Down to the Bone. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for this festival and acknowledging my work in that film. But I just felt the conviction, in short. Film is a complete surprise to me. There's so many incredible surprises, and most of them have to do with the collaboration, the level of collaboration, one and the friendships that you develop. One with Carolyn Briggs, and just that introduction into my life. And this is the first time my husband and I have collaborated. He's a producer and he's a music director on it, and just getting to know my incredible producers and then having it be quite a big family production, discovering sort of giving noogies to my sister until she agreed to play the young Corinne, the 16-year-old Corinne. I'm really proud of her. And so that was magical, watching her blossom loving to be on set and watching her brain and her heart and her experience open up. That was wild. There's so many, so many tests throughout the whole thing. As a mother trying to work with a toddler, and that's tough. I don't know, so many things. Anybody else? Yes.
Did you ever go out and kind of visit any religious communities, or did you kind of work more closely with the author, I forgot her name, on just kind of based on her memories or kind of for that particular?
Both. I've been in many places of worship, and so I wanted to make sure that authenticity and the joy that people get from worship was accurately presented. But it's also very much in Carolyn's book. But there's a lot of research in there. Yes.
What made you decide to keep it in the 70s as opposed to bring it to present day? And what was it about the dogs?
Yeah, well, I don't, it's. Oh, I don't know if you caught the scene with the guidance counselor therapist where he gives her an ultimatum. It's either inside with us or it's outside with the dogs, and that is and that is another surreal fantasy sequence for Corinne. And someone pointed out, and this is the genius of Carolyn Briggs's writing, it's a palindrome, dog and God. That choice.
What was the most rewarding and challenging part of directing yourself?
Oh, good question. Many, I think. The most challenging thing is knowing when to move on. And if when you're working, we shot this in 26 days, and that's a short amount of time, and there's so many live music cues and bus crashes and kids and animals and 3 different eras, and that means makeup, hair, wardrobe. There's very little time, as an actress, I rely heavily on my directors for feedback, and I mean I still got that from other people, whether it was a script supervisor or my scene partners. You find a way, but there's not always time to actually see a visual of it, so you're going by instinct and intuition and feeling, and by your crew. That's always the biggest tell. You know if they don't have that sparkle in their eye and look of contentment, you haven't got it. But that's a huge struggle. Wearing Spanx to keep the belly down. It was really hard to breathe sometimes. Making sure my sister was okay. She was experiencing a lot of things for the first time. So making sure she was okay. Any other question? Yes, in the balcony.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
What was your most favorite scene to act in?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I can't do that. I'll tell you what I was really drawn to is as Carolyn and I were developing the script, we pretty much stuck to the memoirs for the first 2 decades of her life. But then as we developed the third, we were really both intent and keen on developing this female friendship between Annika and Corinne. Like every scene with her is wonderful, just the sheer joy of actually portraying female friendship in such a loving way, accurate way, which I don't often see. So penis drawing was fun. Love to draw penises. That was fun. Yes, sir.
How did John Hawkes come onto the project?
John Hawkes came onto the project back when I saw him in Perfect Storm in that bar scene with the chubby lady that he was flirting with, and I was smitten from that performance. That was the first time ever I was aware of John Hawkes. And in Down to the Bone, I spoke with Deborah Granick about there was another role, and we went out to John Hawkes for that as well. I've always yearned to work with him. He's rare. He's a rare breed, and I just had my people call him up, and I was going to have Deborah there for backup if needed, but he responded to the script, and that was that. Yes, and you.
I was just wondering, you were talking about the female friendship, and I wonder how much was on the page and how much you kind of felt naturally improv with her, especially that hospital scene. It was my favorite scene, and I just wondered if a lot of things you kind of felt.
Well, the hospital scene is a good example of it's, I would say, 99.4% all on the written page, and there has to be a certain measure of being open to whatever happens in the moment between these, whatever energies are there. You have to always keep yourself in the moment. So when my hand falls on her breast and it takes me by surprise and I can't mask it, I got to go with it. And so improvisation will always keep it. It was all there. It was a sharp script. It was sharp as a tack. And then you, that's your role as an actor, is to flesh it out and make it even fuller bodied. So there was always improvisation, always, but the script was sharp. Yes.
So what personal transformation in your own faith and thinking about these things for a long time done to you?
My faith in whom? God, my marriage, myself,
religion.
in God particularly? Is that what you're searching for?
Mostly, but anything
Mostly?
else?
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be asking me when I leave, and I really hesitate to talk about it because it's a long conversation. It's a really long conversation, and God and I are still working it out, and we will be, and I love that. So you got some time. Yes, ma'am.
Whether it's 70s or today, whether they're Muslim, religion, and all the films at some point made me want to scream.
Yeah. Sure, scream. Go on, scream.
I'm just wondering, were you trying?
Was I trying
She
to?
was so graceful. I thought she was, yes, she was upset, but she was so graceful in fighting to find the truth, her own way. But even when the pastor and people kept telling you to shush, you kept speaking and thinking about it.
Look, I don't know also why there are a lot of big stories set within religion to prove that. I don't necessarily think that deity, whatever that is, for whatever your religion is, I don't think that Jesus, for this example, puts women in a box. I think men put women in a box. I think women put each other in boxes. You put yourself in a box. So I'm not sure why there's so many films about faith. I think it's great. We don't talk enough about it. And I also think, and someone asked me that question the other day, and I think there are a lot of false gods out there. I think technology promises a better lifestyle, to make our lives safer and more peaceful, and it doesn't always. So the world's a bit wonky, and we're all looking at ourselves, I guess. I really don't know. I'll find out one day. Yes, sir.
I needed closure because you walked out the door.
You think did I walk out the door?
You kissed your husband,
Mm-hmm.
and did you
What
go
did
out
you
the
see?
door and come back later? And no, that's the question.
Well, she doesn't walk out the door. If you see it again, you'll see that I'm caught in the door frame. 1 foot out and 1 foot in. And I look back in. But that's up to you to decide, and I'm not going to give you any answers because I don't know what happens. I don't know what her next step is. She's not me, But it's a choose your own adventure now, I think. I think you got to look at yourself and see what that reflection means to you. Was that it? Any other questions? I'd be happy to take. Thank you guys. Thank you so